White people are scared to death right now, particularly white males. They're scared to death that they are going to lose their power in the future. And they are.
What scares us is I think we hear violence.
We hate because we're taught to hate. We hate because we're ignorant.
Say black nationalists, you have been taught to fucking fear that because our progression got you scared. Because you think our progression means your regression.
Have you ever asked yourself why white people fear black people? Or is it white people hate black people? I know it's a very heavy word to use, but I think there is that constant fear and hate. Or is it just that white people are scared of black people? Is it that they think black people will confront them back for the atrocities that they did before to our ancestors? Or what makes them fear us more? Or what makes them get scared of us? What is this? Do they think that one day we're going to retaliate? Do they think that one day we're gonna ask them or we're gonna fight them back for what they did to us or for what they keep on doing to us? Well, if you want to get these answers, then you need to stick to this video up to the very end, because I have a video by Jane Elliot, whereby she has said everything, everything pertaining to white people being scared or having this hate towards black people. This is Awakened Africa, and before we jump into that video, kindly, if this is your first time on this channel, I'll ask you to subscribe to it. And if you're a returning subscriber, then thumbs up to yourself, big up to yourself, salute. And I want to tell you that thank you for always keeping me here, because the returning subscribers are the ones who keep on motivating me to make these videos or make this content even more. And right about now, I'll ask you, let us jump straight into the video.
We hate because we're taught to hate. We hate because we're ignorant. We are the product of ignorant people who have been taught an ignorant thing, which is that there are 4 or 5 different races. There are not 4 or 5 different races. There's only one race on the face of the earth, and we're all members of that race, the human race. But we have separated people into races so that some of us can see ourselves as superior to the others. We thought it would work, I guess. It hasn't worked. It has been bad for everyone. But it's time to get over this business. There is no gene for racism. There's no gene for bigotry. You're not born a bigot. You have to learn to be a bigot. Anything you learn, you can unlearn. It's time to unlearn our bigotry. It's time to get over this thing, and we best get over it pretty soon. I'm an educator, and it's my business as an educator to lead people out of ignorance. The ignorance of thinking that you're better or worse than someone else because of the amount of a pigment in your skin. Pigmentation in your skin has nothing to do with intelligence or with your worth as a human being.
I was brought up in, quote, Bedford-Stuyvesant in my town. But I would like to say what scares us is I think we hear violence.
Yes. The young lady said she's afraid of violence. And isn't it sad that we who have been the victims of so much violence, now whites fear violence from us? We do not have a history of killing white people. White people have a history of killing us. See? And what you fear, may I say this, sir? What you fear, and it's a deep guilt thing, that white folks suffer. You are afraid that if we ever come to power, we will do to you and your fathers what you and your people have done to us. And I think you are judging us by the state of your own mind, and that is not necessarily the mind of black people.
You know, they're afraid that they're going to lose their so-called superiority. They're afraid that they're going to have to face the truth that they aren't white, and they aren't superior, and they are not the color of their skin because God made them white. They're going to have to face the fact that we all of us came originally from a country on the continent of Africa, and our ancestors, if you trace your DNA back far enough, you'll find out that your ancestors looked like you. They didn't look like me. because their bodies produced a lot of melanin to protect their cells from the damaging rays of the sun. And here's what's going to solve this. And right now, white people are really frightened. If you don't understand the destruction of Planned Parenthood offices, and you don't understand the wall that we're going to build on the southern border of the United States, you haven't read the book The Birth Dearth by Ben Wattenberg. Ben Wattenberg was a brilliant Jewish man who was a member of the American Enterprise Institute, and he wrote a book, the first paragraph of which says, "The main problem confronting the United States today is there aren't enough white babies being born in this country." He was an advisor to presidents of the United States. He wrote the book in 1987. He says if we don't change this and change it rapidly, white people will lose their numerical majority in this country, and this will no longer be a white man's land. Now, I'm not misrepresenting this. I'm telling you exactly, almost exactly what he says. He says there are 3 things we can do to solve this. Number 1, we could pay women to have babies, as they have been doing in Western European nations for years. Then he says, and these are his words, not mine, unfortunately, we would have to pay women of all colors to have babies, so we don't want to do that. He says the second thing we could do is increase the number of legal immigrants that are allowed into this country every year. Then once again he says, unfortunately, the vast majority of those wanting to come to this country today are people of color, so we don't want to do that. The third thing he says, and women had better pay attention to this, 60% of the fetuses that are aborted every year are white. If we could keep that 60% alive, that would solve our birth dearth. Does that sound like racism to you?
Can you talk a little bit about the trauma associated with?
The trauma associated with it?
Yeah.
One of the main traumas is it tells white people that they are superior because of the lack of melanin in their skin. And then they find out suddenly that we've got a black president. That's traumatic. That's where the trauma is. Living a lie, finding out the truth is traumatic. Finding out now, recently, that within 30 years, white people will be in the numerical minority in this country is going to be traumatic. White people are scared to death right now, particularly white males. They're scared to death that they are going to lose their power in the future. And they are. But if you want to get ready for the future, if you want to be treated well in the future, treat others well in the present. What we do in the present constructs the future. We called the Japanese, and you'll pardon me, but this is what we called them, slant-eyed little yellow We didn't say that about the Germans. After the war, we rebuilt Germany and Japan. And we get along beautifully with the Japanese. That was in 1945 that we finally won that war. How many years ago was that? Figure that out quickly.
I'm not a math person, but...
You're not a math person, but you know it wasn't that far. Right. And it didn't take 50 years for us to have peace with the Japanese and the Germans, even though we dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan. The Japanese hadn't killed 10 million people. Nowhere near that. We didn't drop any bombs on Germany. Any atomic bombs on Germany. They were a different kind of people. We couldn't afford to do that. We killed how many Japanese people with 2 atomic bombs? And they forgave us. You want to talk about forgiveness? You want to talk about changing this thing? I cannot understand how Japanese people can stand the sight of any of us, and yet they do. I cannot understand why black people who have been subjected to the ugliness that they've been subjected to in this country can get up every morning and go to work among us and not be absolutely furious. And I don't understand why we allow white people to behave the way they do. I don't understand that. And my 3rd graders, after they'd gone through the exercise, couldn't understand it and wouldn't tolerate it. And when they went up to junior high and a junior high teacher used the N-word, one of my former students said, if you're going to use that word, I'm going to go out in the hall until you stop using it, because we don't use that word in this school. That was a 7th grader who told his teacher off. When we have enough students who are willing to confront people who are making racist, sexist, ageist, homophobic statements, we're going to be better off. We have got to stop tolerating the intolerable. If it's intolerable for my black cousins, and every black person on this earth is one of my cousins, if it's intolerable for them, it's intolerable for me. I will not tolerate it. I will not tolerate it. I am required not to tolerate that kind of treatment for the people who are related to me. And that's every person on the face of the earth. If your ignorance is such that you'll mistreat somebody because of your ignorance about the color of their skin, don't do it around me. Number 1, I've been threatened with death lots of times. Now I say, go for it, fool.
My husband died 4 years ago. Being with him would not be a bad thing for me. Death is not the worst thing that can happen to you. Living a worthless, useless life is much worse than dying.
Our white people so fucking afraid of us. Like, what we gonna do to y'all? We're not gonna kill you, because if we was about that life, we'd have already been doing that. So, it's not like black people just gonna kill white people. Can't have that. Y'all develop businesses, shit still exists. We did Black Wall Street, y'all burnt that shit down. We can't do that. Y'all own guns, government try to take the guns for y'all all jump up and get scared. I got my Second Amendment rights. I get to have all types of guns. Bunch of black dudes get a guns. They can't even do a mannequin challenge. You raid the motherfucking house. Tell me something that look like some possible suspicious activity going on. It may be a hazard to safety. Well, guess what? I posted a video of a bunch of white dudes doing a mannequin challenge. They got their Confederate flag and everything. You know what I'm saying? I think it might be some suspicious activity going on over there. You're not gonna raid that shit, is you? I say, black nationalists, you have been taught to fucking fear that because our progression got you scared. Because you think our progression means your regression. Black people ain't got no problems with white people. Damn. We the most forgiving people you could possibly be. Y'all couldn't have picked the better people to fuck over. We forgive you for every goddamn thing. Motherfuckers done, not only do we forgive, some of us so stupid we done fucking forgot. It's like, yo, what the fuck? Only problem black people got is that y'all got a fucking problem with us. We just trying to eat like everybody else.
Alright, good people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to the video. So, why would the white people fear black people? Yet, they are the ones in the positions of power. They are the ones who control and run the economy. They are the ones who have the good jobs. They are the ones who have the privileges. But as you've heard from the videos, from the different speakers, I think white people are just guilt. There is that guilt in them that kills them inside. They are guilty because they fear that one day black people are going to do whatever we did to them hundreds of years back. The systemic oppression, the racism, the segregation, everything that they put us through, colonialism, the slavery, everything that they did to the black people. This is why they fear. They fear violence. They fear that one day black people are going to retaliate, which is not the case. By the way, I want to tell you something about black people that a lot of people won't tell you. Black people are naturally peaceful people. Black folks are always peaceful. Black people love peace. They don't love violence. Tell me where in this world you'll find other races excuse me. Tell me in this world where you will find other races owning properties, owning land, running businesses, all right, in a land that is not theirs. Where will you find that? Of course, it is in Africa. In Africa, we have Indians, we have Chinese, we have Koreans, we have white people, we have a lot of the almost every race is found in Africa. We have Arabs in Africa, but there is no way we're going to retaliate back. There is no way we're going to fight these people back. One thing that white people must make peace with is black people. The black ancestry is the mother of all races. Everybody came from Africa, as you've heard from Miss Jane Elliot. Every race came from Africa. So if you're going to hate the black people or the black folks in America or the black people anywhere else, it means that you hate your ancestry. Because you came from black people. Black people didn't come from white people. White people came from black people. Jane Elliot has explained everything. Now, this constant fear that white people have that maybe one day black people might retaliate, maybe black people might do this, nothing like that is going to happen. We love you, we love peace, and we're not going to fight anybody else. Whatever you did and whatever you keep on doing, just free yourself from that bigotry. You know something, people are not born racist. I can tell you for sure. People are not born racist, because if you take an Asian kid, an African kid, and a white kid, you put them in a forest for the rest of their lives, these people are going to adapt to that, living to that forest. These people are going to learn how to live with each other peacefully. They're not going to know that this is why this is black, this is the yellow. They ain't gonna know that, and they ain't gonna be racist. Something that white people need to understand is racism is taught, hate is taught, and this is just some sort of nonsense, bigotry, and white people must unlearn that, because everything you are taught, no one is born a racist, right? So if you've reached to the end of this video, I want to commend you. Thank you for always supporting me. Thank you for those who have subscribed to this channel. Kindly guys, take me to 1,000 subscribers. I really want you guys to take me to 1,000 subscribers, and I know you can do it, guys. All right? So thumbs up to yourself. If this is the kind of content that you really like, then consider giving this video a thumbs up too. Don't forget to comment so that we can have the conversation in the comments. Don't forget to share this message to your brothers and sisters so that every time I post, so that they can also get the message. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so that every time I post a new video, you'll be the first person to get notified about it. This is Awakened Africa. This is where we have the thought-provoking conversations about everything trending, everything black, everything Africa, everything human race on this channel. Guys, thank you so much, and happy Black History Month. Today is on 28th. Peace out.